Nice. Let's begin in a forward fold for a moment. So come to stand and have your feet wide apart, wider than hips distance. Second toes parallel to each other. And then if you want to open up the shoulders here, you can start with interlacing the fingers behind you or holding a strap between the hands. Bend the knees a lot, so as you tilt your weight forward, heavier on the balls of your feet, you can lengthen the spine instead of rounding the back. And then let the head completely fall as you fold forward. If the hands are clasped or you're holding a strap, begin to lift the arms forward, moving them away from the lower back so you can open the fronts of the shoulders, the chest. And at the same time, lift the shoulders up away from the neck, and you might like to just move the head around gently, shaking it, nodding it. Notice the way that your body is breathing here right now. Is there any part of your body speaking to you more loudly this morning, wanting your attention in some way? What are the kind of thoughts sitting in your mind, if any? If your fingers are interlaced, try switching the cross of the thumb and index finger on top. And then shift a little more forward. And taking a deeper inhale, fill up space in your belly and lungs so that you even feel the back ribs expand. Open the mouth. Might feel good to just sigh out loudly. Take a few more deep, arriving breaths like that. Now you might even choose to let the arms just hang and shimmy out the shoulders, loosen up the jaw, perhaps by fluttering the lips. That's a common area to hold tension. Maybe even sway the spine gently to help release any tension along it, along the back, along the neck and shoulders. Diving into deeper, more conscious breaths. Bend your knees a lot, heel toe your feet a little closer together so that you could walk your hands up your legs if needed to support the lower back, or simply roll up slowly on an in-breath, stacking one vertebra at a time and lifting your head last. Rolling the shoulders behind you and down. Take a few breaths of that. Inhale the shoulders forward and up. Exhale them back and down. Feeling the breath more expansive in the belly and the lungs. Find a comfortable seat here. So as some of you are connected with me on social media, I just recently posted an article about morning rituals, daily joy and purpose on our Root to Rise yoga blog. You can find it on our website under blogs. And I wanted to read a few excerpts from it. It starts, if we are creatures of habit, and habits are building blocks of character, how can we be purposeful with what we choose to do repeatedly to live a life we enjoy, sharing our best selves with the world? How do your actions first thing in the morning reinforce your values, such as physical vitality, mental clarity, and spiritual connection? You know, in Sanskrit, there's a word, sadhana, which means spiritual practices. And they are regular things that you do, sort of like brushing your teeth is to dental hygiene. Sadhana is spiritual and mental, so-called hygiene. So I believe that having a daily ritual of aligning your inner and outer being empowers you to live consciously, rather than on autopilot, and align to what's meaningful to you. Also, when unexpected life challenges occur, such as a worldwide pandemic, your strengthened willpower and sense of health through daily ritual enhance your ability to feel grounded and resilient. Moreover, your devotion to integrity with regular discipline permeates daily interactions and shares a centered presence with those around you. And then in the blog, it talks about 3 things to consider when you're either evaluating your current morning routine or ritual, or in designing one. One is to make sure that it's personally meaningful. I like to use the word ritual in place of routine because ritual implies that it's sacred to you. You prioritize it, and it's not just something on your to-do list that you feel taxed about having to do. Second is that it's positively impactful. It's important to evaluate it after practicing that ritual, say 7 days in a row, consistently, and see how it benefits or doesn't benefit you, those around you, either the day of, immediately after, and even long term, to really be conscious of what you are propagating about yourself. And then the third is to make it doable. Do the logistics, like time, when you do it, how long you do it, where you do it. Facilitate your wholehearted practice of it. So it truly is something that you feel more aligned to your inner being with. And then at the very end of the article, I conclude, if all beings share their presence in the world, purposefully aligned to their deep sense of self and overall health, I genuinely believe peace and joy would be a potent norm. Let's continue to nourish ourselves daily, like you're showing up today, this morning, for yoga, especially spiritually, to optimize the goodness we have to offer our lives in our worlds. So in the practice of yoga, we practice being intentional in the way we breathe and what we focus our minds on, knowing that where our minds focus, our energy goes, and what we put our energy in becomes greater. So what is it that you are putting your energy in terms of mental focus, and practicing sharpening that in this hour? As you sit tall, grounded with your physical body on the earth, spine lifted, heart space wide open, what are you opening your body up to feel through this practice? What are you opening your mind up to feel? Perhaps you bring the hands together at your heart as you set your sankalpa, which means intention. So as we have been practicing for weeks now, we're going to begin with a pranayama or breath technique called Bhastrika, energizing, enhancing the well-being of our lungs, clearing the mind. If you start to do it and you feel like it's not right for you, you get lightheaded or something, just take deep breaths. But let's begin by focusing on breathing into the belly deeper so the diaphragm is engaged. And then exhaling through the nose, hollowing the belly. So you're using the muscles of the abdomen. Inhale into the belly. Through the nose, exhale. So the mouth is closed the entire time. Now I'll quickly demonstrate. Elbows bent apart, hands like fists. Take a deep inhale, the arms lift, fingers spread. Exhale, the elbows bend again. It's like this. So I'm going to watch the clock for 1 minute. If you choose to join us, begin with your elbows bent to the sides. Sit tall so the shoulders are relaxed. Find a steady rhythm and close the eyes. Let's begin. Relax. Just breathe naturally for a moment to observe. And Then continue building warmth in the body by using Ujjayi Pranayama, where the lips are still closed, but now you're sustaining the breath equally through the nose while softly narrowing the back of your throat, producing a gentle whispering sound. So allowing the mind to track the quality of the breath, keeping it steady, balanced, and smooth. Softly open your eyes, and let's begin standing up right at the top of your mats. Setting the feet apart, hips distance, maybe a little wider if you're feeling especially tighter in the backs of the legs of the lower back. Parallel the feet and spread your toes. Bring intention into how you root your body downward. Spread your weight through the four corners of each foot, and then feel energized up through the legs, through the belly, through the chest lifting, through the crown of the head rising. And then let the shoulder blades soften down as the palms face forward, down by your sides, sitting in an intentional grounding and uplifted posture called Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a deep inhale as you sweep the arms overhead, watching your palms touch. This gesture of reverence and gratitude. Bend the knees slightly and fold as you breathe out. Press your fingertips on the ground ahead or your legs, and breathe in to lift the chest, lengthening your spine parallel to the floor. Exhale, lower the fingertips and step the left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge. Firm down to the right foot and sweep the arms, lifting the torso upright as you take a deep breath in, tilting the heart up. Circle the hands flat on the mat, step to plank pose, and exhale, glide forward, bending the elbows back so the arms hug your side ribs, come all the way down. Straightening the legs on the ground, breathe in to lift the chest lightly in a baby cobra to start. Press through the hands and tuck your toes. Lift up to your version of plank pose, exhaling back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath, in and out through your nose. So we're easing right into Surya Namaskar B, or C, Inhale, raise the left leg behind you. As you exhale, slowly bend that knee towards your nose so the belly engages to softly step the foot forward. Just inside the left hand, lower the back knee. From down to the left foot and sweep the arms as you inhale to lift the chest up. Circle the hands to the top of your mat, exhaling to step forward and bow. From down to the feet, inhale, sweep the arms to rise tall in mountain pose. Palms meet, exhale them together at your heart. Easing right into side two, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward to bow towards the earth. Inhale, press with the hands to lengthen your spine forward. Lower the fingertips, exhale, step right knee back to a kneeling lunge. Then inhale, sweep the arms, lifting the chest. Circle the hands to the mat and exhale from plank, lower forward, then down, sustaining the breath. Cobra or upward facing dog. Breathe in to coil your chest up. Tuck the toes, engage the belly as you exhale to lift the hips back to downward facing dog. Pause for a deep breath here. On an inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Slow and controlled, bend the knee towards your nose and softly land the foot inside of your right hand. Back knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms and lift the chest in Anjaneyasana. Exhale, circle the hands to the top of your mat and step forward to bow. Root down to your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms to rise up. A salutation, welcoming this day ahead. Exhale the hands to your heart. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Either float back to Chaturanga or step to plank to lower on your own through your vinyasa. Breathing in to lift the chest in either cobra or upward facing dog. Engage the belly to lift the hips. Exhaling to downward facing dog. So take a few breaths here this time. If you need a moment to pedal the feet out and further warm up the backs of your legs, maybe softly shake and nod your head to help relax the neck further. Or just be still, but be mindful of how you're rooting down through fingers spread, pointing the index fingers forward parallel to each other, and creating space across the tops of your shoulders by rotating your triceps or outer upper arms towards the ground. Lift the hips high, bend the knees. Look beyond your hands. At the bottom of your next exhale, lightly land at the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, lift your heart, lengthen forward. Exhale, bow in. Firm into the ground. Inhale, rise tall. Palms meet overhead. Exhale to gather your heart. Let's semi-flow through sun salutation B, then continuously flow once. Bring your feet together to touch, preparing for chair pose. Bend your knees together to touch and sink your weight towards your heels as you lower the hips back, arms up, shoulders relaxed. Just a couple more breaths here. You want to have your shins back enough where if you look down, you could see your toes. Then feel a natural curve in the lower back, not overarching it. With an exhale, shift your weight forward and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, press your legs to the floor, lengthen forward. Either float to Chaturanga or step to plank and lower through it. Then inhale to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. Now as you keep your two hips balanced, inhale, lift the right leg behind you. Engaging the belly, softly land the foot just inside of your right hand so that your feet are hips width apart. Then spin your back heel down. Both feet entirely on the ground, both hips facing forward. Press to your feet and rise up to stand. Warrior one. Let's take a few breaths to feel your physical alignment. As you bend your front knee right on top of the heel, draw your right thigh bone back deeper into the hip socket. Keeping that, straighten your left leg entirely and firm the outer edge of your left heel into the earth while bringing your left outer hip slightly forward. By lifting your frontal hip bones slightly towards your bottom front ribs, allow your tailbone to lengthen down as you lift up through your crown. Then raising the arms, relax the shoulders. If you'd like to add more fire in this pose, seal the palms and gaze towards your thumbs. In Virabhadrasana 1, take another inhale. Use the entire exhale to lower from plank through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale back to Downward Facing Dog. Let's take a deep breath here. Still exhaling through the nose. Second side, keep your hips balanced and inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Slow and controlled through the belly contracting, step the foot lightly inside of your left hand. Note that your feet are hips width apart as you spin the back heel down. Both feet entirely on the ground. You could adjust your stance to do that. And both hips facing forward. Then firm down to your feet and rise up. Warrior one. So feel your front knee bending just on top of the ankle as you're drawing that thigh bone back deeper into the hip socket. Maintain that while straightening your right leg and pressing the outer edge of that heel into the floor. Think of spiraling the inseam of your right leg, the inner thigh, slightly towards the rear of your mat. That's another way of bringing the right hip forward. Basically, you want to feel that the bowl shape of your pelvis is aligned, upright, neutral. So draw the tailbone down, slightly engage the belly, and as you raise your arms, relaxing the shoulders, feel the line all the way down the sideways, lengthening. Perhaps you add sealing the palms and gazing up, taking one more breath in. Use the entire exhale to lower. Now, if you're choosing not to take a full-on vinyasa again, you could set your knees down and take one cat-cow pose instead. Feel free to change up the physical practice as you listen and respond to your own body. Breathing in, breathing out. Nurture a steady sound rhythm as you breathe through your nose. And we'll use that rhythm After we wrap up this first round, to flow, 1 breath per motion. Bend your knees a lot. Look in front of your hands. At the end of your exhalation, walk or lightly jump to the top. Feet touch. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Knees touch. Inhale, sit back towards the heels in chair or Utkatasana. Exhale to rise. So that finishes one cycle of Sun Salutation B. Let's flow through one more. Inhale, sitting in chair. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift the heart to lengthen. Either float back, step back to lower, choose your vinyasa here, keeping your breath as consistent as you can. So follow your breath more than my voice if you have to choose. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, step the foot inside of right hand, drop the back heel. Face forward, 1 inhale to rise, warrior 1. 1 exhale to lower into your choice of vinyasa. Using the in-breath to lift the heart. Exhale, back to downward dog. Side 2. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale the foot forward, inside of the left hand. Spin the back heel down. Face forward, inhale, rise to warrior 1. Exhale, lower, flow or no flow. Do what's best for you. We'll meet in downward facing dog for several breaths. Important in one of the 8 limbs of yoga is the practice of satya, which is truthfulness. And in the physical practice, that's such an important part of really acknowledging where you're feeling energetically right now, how the body is right now based on your experiences lately, and tuning into that so you're and look forward. Bottom of the exhale, lightly land at the top. Breathe in to lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Knees touch. Inhale, sit low in chair. Join your hands at your heart. We're coming into a twist in chair. Begin to turn your chest to face the right wall just a little bit each breath. Now as you sink the hips lower, try to keep them lower than your heart the whole posture. You've got about 5 more breaths here to explore the range of your twist. Now take a look at your knees and see that they're both in the same line. One knee is not forward than the other, which helps to know that you are not twisting at your pelvis and you're keeping your lower back safe. If you'd like to add a leverage of left arm pressing against right thigh, you can keep your hands in prayer or open the arms wide. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Focus on how the quality of your breath affects the way you feel as you hold this posture for 2 more cycles of breath. Sink your hips a little lower. Inhale, sit low through chair pose. Exhale, rise up to stand. Breathe in, breathe out. Side 2, so feet together, knees together. Sink your weight towards your heels in chair. Join the hands at your heart and take a deep breath in, elongating your spine. Now at your waistline, rotate the rib cage to the left, little by little, breath by breath. You might sink a little lower if you're seeking more intensity, twisting a little more as you breathe out. Relax the shoulders, finding integrity in breath and posture and mental focus. Remember, it's all tools we're sharpening for our day. You might add the leverage of right arm against left thigh. Last 3 breaths. What are you enhancing about yourself as you hold this posture? Sit a little lower. Inhale back to chair pose. Exhale, rise all the way up. Let's turn to face the wide width of your mat. If you have blocks, take them with you. And Standing at the middle of your mat, open your arms wide, step or jump your feet about as wide apart as your wrists. Then set your blocks behind your calves. We'll use them for triangle perhaps, or if you just have one block, place it behind your left calf first. Now from your hips, rotate your legs and pivot both of your feet to face the end of your mat where your left foot is. Left foot is the front leg. Align that heel to the arch of your right foot, and let's prepare for Warrior Two. Bend your left knee right on top of the ankle. If you're seeking more rigor, have a wide enough stance to bend the left knee to a right angle, while firming the outside edge of your right foot into the earth so your spine stays balanced and centered. Open the arms, relax the shoulders, and steady your gaze, or drishti, on one spot, maybe just past the left hand or closing the eyes. Notice the quality of your breaths. So as we hold this a little bit longer, I'm going to take you through a mind tour to stay in the position, but just in your mind's eye, see these adjustments within your body. Right toes, your back leg, is slightly facing the front leg. That leg is straight as you firm the top of the thigh bone back, bending the front knee just over the ankle. You're wrapping the left outer hip underneath your body, feeling the bowl shape of your pelvis orient upright, affecting the full length of your spine, especially the lower spine. As you lightly engage the belly, let's take 3 more deep breaths. In Virabhadrasana 2, a wonderfully grounding and focus enhancing asana. Though you steady your eyes, relax your gaze. Straighten the left leg to prepare for triangle pose. You might want to shorten your stance a couple of inches to help stabilize. Slide your pelvis sideways towards your rear leg, the right leg, and reach the left hand forward past the left knee as far as you can so that you're lengthening the left side of your torso, even as you lower the left hand onto your leg or just to the left outside of your leg, pressing arm and leg against each other. Now notice right away, has any sensation communicated something to you? If you start to feel pinching or shortening in the left lower back, it's a good indicator to explore lifting the left hand a little higher than where you placed it so that you're still able to roll the left glute slightly under your body and draw your left hip crease back towards your right outer heel. You want to feel space within your body in this posture, not compression. Engaging the fronts of your thighs, especially your front leg. Lift your kneecaps without locking the knees and feel stability as you ground. So much so that if you wanted to, you could lift a finger or more of your left hand. Last 3 breaths. Perhaps you're gazing up towards the right thumb, unless that doesn't feel good on your neck. Find space within the neck, the chest, the breath. Uddita Trikonasana, both a grounding and expansive feeling posture. Let's take both of those qualities into the next Ardha Chandrasana, taking flight. So as we make our way there, you might place your right hand on your right hip to help transition. Steady your gaze on the floor ahead of your left foot. Steady your breathing. Bend your left knee and crawl your left fingertips about 6 inches forward of your left pinky toe out to the left upper corner. Drag your right foot forward and flex that foot as you lift the heel at about the level of your hip. Now imagine there's a wall opposite of your head on that side of your mat, and you're pressing your right foot against that wall. Feel stability to lengthen as you turn your chest completely to face the wide width of your mat as it was facing in triangle pose. Maybe you explore raising the right arm or coming into full moon where you bend the right knee towards your belly and with the right hand catch the top of the right foot Kicking the leg back as you pull the foot to coil the right side of the chest open. Whatever you're practicing, how is your breath coloring your perspective of it? Now take your time as we're practicing balance here. When you feel ready to step back, once you arrive in Warrior Two, flip the left palm to face up and sweep it overhead towards your rear leg in a lateral bend, peaceful or exalted warrior. As we hold this for a few breaths, imagine cascading your breath down the left side of your torso, down to the crease of your left hip, while bending the left knee straight forward down the center line of your mat. Let's take one more breath. And on the next inhale, rise up to stand. And then start to pivot your feet to face the opposite edge of your mat so your right foot becomes the front leg. Align the right heel to the arch of your left foot. Have a wide enough stance, especially if you want the rigor of bending right knee to a 90-degree angle. Firm the outside edge of your left foot into the earth. Feel your pelvic bowl upright as you're wrapping right outer hip under and firming top of the left thigh bone back, like two counter actions to create stability. As the spine lengthens, centered between your feet, open your arms. Expand your wings. Relax the shoulders and steady your gaze just past the right hand or inward. Feel the breath in, enlivening every cell in your body. Feel the breath out, purifying, releasing what you no longer need. Tune into the magnificence of your breath, something we can easily overlook. Couple more breaths here in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Now straighten your legs to prepare for triangle pose, and you might like to shorten your stance a couple inches. If you're going to use a block, make sure it's on the outside, the right side of your right calf. Slide your hip sideways towards your rear leg and reach the right hand forward towards your front leg. Then set the right hand down just the height that you feel, as if you're equally lengthening both sides of your torso. You're still able to fully turn out the right leg from the hip, stacking your shoulders and wrists in one line. Feel the rootedness of your legs and feet by engaging the fronts of your thighs, engaging the sides of your waist, your lower belly. Notice that you're able to lift a finger or more of your right hand and still be expansive and grounded in triangle pose. Deep breaths. Now as you steady your gaze, maybe up towards the left thumb or eyes closed, I'd like to guide you through the energy lines in your body here. So feel the outer edge of your left heel rooting into the ground. Imagine that beyond the skin of your body, you're rooting down towards the center of the earth. Trace that line diagonally up your left leg, lengthening from your tailbone throughout your spine and out through the crown of your head. Continue to lengthen forward through that. Now as you breathe, feel your heart space. Expanding from your heart center, feel the radiation of the line of energy across your arms, your wingspan, and beyond your fingertips. Grow through that line. Lastly, feel your right foot firming into the ground, rooting beyond the surface of the earth, up through the right leg to your pelvis. Now, keep those lines in mind as we transition to half moon. In the transition, you might place the left hand on your left hip. Steady your eyes on the ground in front of your right foot. Bend your right knee, crawl your right fingertips about 6 inches forward into the right of your right pinky toe. Drag your left foot forward and flex the foot, lifting the heel to about the height of your hip. Imagine you're pressing the heel against a wall at that rear end of your mat. Continue to lengthen from left heel, up left leg, up spine, through crown of your head. Breathe in and feel radiation of energy across your arms. Maybe you lift the left arm up if you feel pretty balanced. Feel the line down the right leg and continue to grow in all of those directions, knowing that your energy, your presence, expands beyond the physical body. And if you want to come into full moon, you could bend the left knee into your chest, catch hold of the top of the foot. Whatever you're exploring, tune in to how your body is breathing. Take your time. When you decide to step back, slow motion, feel your center stable as you land. Warrior 2, flip the right palm to face up. Lift the sides of your waist and sweep the right palm overhead towards the rear leg. Exalted or peaceful warrior. As you keep bending your front knee, trace it down the midline of your mat. Couple more deep breaths. Expanding down the right side of your torso and into your hip. Now inhale to rise up. Let's come into a wide-legged squat standing up. So facing the wide edge of your mat again, turn out both of your legs. Bend your knees and make sure that the middle of your kneecaps are turned out in the same degree as the middle toes under them. Doesn't matter how turned out, just make sure they're aligned to keep your knees safe. Then you might rock a little side to side as you focus on lifting the frontal hip bones by slightly engaging the lower belly, anchoring the tailbone down so pelvis is a bit more upright. And then press your hands onto your inner thighs and root down as you lift the heart up. Breathe in. Keep the legs turned out. Exhale, twist to your left, dipping the right shoulder forward and looking up past the left. Inhale, rise back to center with both knees bent. Exhale, twist to the right, dipping the left shoulder. Look over the right. One more each side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Nice way to also help wring out the back, lubricate the spine. Last side, twist. Inhale, center. And then parallel your feet. Let's step up to the front of your mats. Bring the feet to touch. Inhale, raise the arms overhead. Perhaps you add a gentle back bend standing. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Step or float back to take your choice of vinyasa. Or no vinyasa, we'll meet in downward facing dog. When you arrive in downward dog, inhale, raise the right leg behind you. Notice your hips squared to start. Then look forward and exhale, cross the right knee to touch your left elbow or tricep. Try to keep your shoulders balanced. Keep looking forward. Inhale, raise the right leg again. Exhale, tap the outside of your right upper arm, your tricep, forward in plank. Inhale, raise the right leg. Bend the right knee and turn open at the hip, either rotating the right leg a few times at the hip socket or slowly flipping it over into tripod back bend, where you step the ball of your right foot outside the left edge of your mat. Keeping the left leg straight, you flex the left foot and lean on the outside edge of it. Then lifting the pelvis high, you drop the head back and perhaps sweep the right arm overhead towards the front of your mat. It's a heart opening posture, so feel your heart rise as you take a deep breath if you're in this pose. Then come back to three-legged downward facing dog. Reach the right leg behind. Exhale, step the right foot behind the right wrist. Just behind the right wrist. Slide the left foot forwards to a slightly shorter stance than warrior one. Both legs are straight, the feet are hips width apart, and the hips are equally facing forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Now, if you'll want to use a strap for supporting your shoulders if they're feeling tight, grab that strap. Lead with your chest and breathe in to rise. Now, holding the strap from your left hand, dangle it behind you if you're using one. Otherwise, raise your left arm. Guide your left elbow behind the center of your head. Dropping the left palm between your shoulder blades. If you don't have a strap, catch hold of your shirt there. Reach the right hand under behind you, catching the other end of the strap or your shirt. Then walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe the fingers clasped. Press both shoulders down, broaden the chest. Now feel your feet firmly grounded as you spread your toes and engage the front of your thighs. Breathe in, coil the chest up. Keep the belly engaged. Exhale, begin to bow towards the inside of your right shin. Pause. Draw the right hip slightly back to align the hips squared and stretch the spine forward as you breathe in. Keep your throat open as you exhale to bow further. So just like that, breath by breath, bowing to explore the range where you could maintain open space between chin and chest, shoulders relaxed down the back, and full length of your spine. Let's take 2 more breaths in this version of Utthita Parshvottanasana, pyramid pose. Feel the support of your back leg. It really helps when you're bowing forward. Now inhale, start to lift the spine just halfway up. Lower your fingertips to frame your front leg. Look ahead of your front leg, past the front of your mats. Let's prepare for Warrior 3. Bend the right knee, keep the 2 hips facing forward, and crawl your fingertips 1 foot in front of your front foot. Lean into lifting the left leg parallel to the floor behind you. Take a moment to bend your right knee, and you might even use your right thumb to tack the right hip back. Flex the left foot. You can look under your belly and see that your left knee and toes are completely facing the floor rather than turning to the left. Then look beyond the floor just beneath your face to encourage lengthening your spine and continuing the horizontal line from your left leg. Maybe you play with lifting a finger or more off the floor. You might reach the arms behind you wide open or reach them forward if you're looking for more fire. Let's take a few more breaths in Virabhadrasana 3. When you feel ready to land, slowly step back to crescent lunge, landing on the ball of your left foot with feet parallel, hips width apart. When you arrive in crescent lunge, bring the hands to your hips, draw the tailbone down, maybe interlace the fingers behind you if you prefer a deeper chest opening posture. Coil the chest up and just take a couple deep breaths, lifting your heart and drawing your tailbone down. With an exhale, lower your hands, optional to flow through a vinyasa, or simply step straight to downward facing dog. We'll meet there. When you arrive in downward facing, deep breaths through the nose. Inhale, raise the left leg behind you, keeping your hips balanced. Exhale, come forward to plank and cross the knee to right elbow or tricep, looking ahead of your hands, shoulders balanced. Inhale, raise the left leg again. Exhale, tap the knee to your left tricep or outer upper arm in plank. Inhale, raise the leg. Bend the knee and turn open at the hip, either rotating the leg gently at the hip socket or flipping it over into tripod back bend, also called wild thing. Stepping the ball of your left foot outside the right edge of your mat, left knee bends. Straightening the right leg, flexing the foot as you lean on the outside edge of it, and lifting the pelvis high as you draw the right shoulder blade down your back, reaching the left arm overhead. Deep breath, feel your heart space lift and expand. And when you feel ready, back to 3-legged downward facing dog. Straighten the left leg behind you and square your hips. Breathe in here, then exhale, lightly step the left foot behind your left wrist. Spin the back heel down, and you might walk it forward enough so you have about 2/3 of a stance as you did in Warrior One. It's not quite as large. Feet are hips width apart. Feet are entirely on the ground. Legs are straight. Bring your hands to your hips. Engage your belly. Inhale to rise. Oh, do grab the strap if you're going to use that to support your shoulders. Now, standing tall, raise your right arm. If you have a strap, dangle it behind you. Bring your right elbow behind the center of your head and drop your right palm between your shoulder blades. If no strap, catch your shirt there. Reach the left hand under, catch your shirt or the strap, and walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. Root down through your feet, spreading the toes without gripping the mat. Breathe in to lift and broaden your chest. Slide the shoulders down the back. Exhale, hinge forward towards your inner left shin and pause. Scissor the left hip back, ground through both feet and lengthen forward as you inhale. Fold another little bit as you exhale. And on your own, just feeling out the range of motion on this side as you keep your two hips firming into your midline. Ground the back heel. Open the space at the front of your neck. Couple last breaths in Purposeful, pyramid pose. Now keeping the belly engaged, fronts of the thighs engaged, lift the spine parallel to the floor and lower your hands to frame your front leg. Look ahead of your left toes. Begin to lean into Warrior Three, crawling your hands 1 foot in front of your left toes. Now as you lift the right leg, flex the foot. You might even look under your belly to see your right knee and toes facing the ground. It can be helpful to square your hips by bending the left knee. You could use the left thumb to tack the left outer hip back. Imagine you're balancing a book or yoga block across your lower back. Then set your gaze ahead of the ground just under your face to encourage the spine to lengthen parallel to the floor too. Maybe you raise the arms to some degree, maybe you don't. What do you need here to feel more balanced through this physical practice? A few more breaths in Virabhadrasana 3. This time we'll land with both feet at the top of the mat in a standing forward fold. Separating your feet a little wider than hips distance, preparing for a squat, a lower version. So turn out your legs from the hips again so your knees and middle toes turn out the same degree. Bend your knees to either sit on a pillow, a block, the ground, or you might splay the feet wider apart to be comfortable there. Or if it feels okay, let your pelvis hover off the ground. Then bring your arms inside of your legs to splay them open as you lift the chest and roll the shoulders back and down. Perhaps you bring the hands in prayer at your heart. Imagine you might close your eyes while doing so, that you could take a deep breath from the base of your spine and fill up more space between each vertebra, lifting the breath to your crown. And as you exhale, you bring that attention down each vertebra back to the base of the spine. Let's try 3 breaths like that. Inhale from base of the spine, slowly up to the crown. Exhale from your crown all the way down to your tailbone. And on your own, a couple more breaths, balancing the breath. Stay aware of that calm, focused breathing as you choose what to do next here. Here are the options. If you're looking for something more restorative and stretchy, sit all the way down and bring the feet together, knees apart, to fold and bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. If you're looking for more active twisting, cross the right arm in front of the right thigh, raise the left arm up and turn the chest. You might even add some form of a bind, with or without a strap. Then switch after about 5 breaths. If you're still really invigorated and need to play with that fire, come into crow pose and arm balance, bringing the inner edges of your feet to touch, placing the hands 1 foot in front of your toes flat on the floor, and thinking of your arms as though you were in plank, lowering through chaturanga. Bending the knees apart, hollow the belly to lift the heels. And then bending the elbows back, hug your knees high towards your armpits on your upper arms. Gazing ahead of the floor under your face, encourage your weight to shift forward, to perhaps lift the feet off the floor together to touch. Hollowing the belly, rooting down through knees, through hands to rise up. Bakasana. If you are in crow and you want to jump back into chaturanga for one last vinyasa, feel free to add that. Whatever posture you're choosing right now, we'll eventually meet in Sphinx pose. So take a few breaths to make your way down to your belly with legs straight back, lifting your chest with the forearms in front of you. Nice. Once you're in Sphinx, have your elbows slightly in front of your shoulders, and then relax the shoulders back and down as you lift the chest. Then pay attention to your legs. Slide your knees as close together as you can so they're not wider apart than your hips distance. Then from here, let's stretch into the quadriceps, a huge muscle in the body. Cross the left forearm in front of your chest on the ground and bend your right knee. Backstroke your right arm and catch the inside, the big toe side of your right ankle or foot, rather than the pinky toe side, so that you're accentuating opening the front of your right shoulder. With your knees no wider apart than hips distance, ground both of your frontal hip bones. This will help to support the lower back. As you breathe here, gently bring your right heel slightly to the outside of your right hip. Keep relaxing both shoulders down and turning your chest to face forward through the support of the left forearm. Relax the jaw, soften the eyes. Last 2 deep breaths. Then release the right leg straight, come back to a regular Sphinx with both forearms in front. Lion's breath. Take a deep inhale into your belly, then open your eyes and mouth wide, sticking out your tongue for a cooling exhale. Side 2. Scoot the knees close together, cross the right forearm in front of your chest. Bend your left knee and backstroke your left arm. Reach for the big toe side. Slide the knees closer together if they splayed. Press both frontal hip bones into the ground. Slowly bring left heel towards outside, just slightly outside of the left hip. Now feel your right forearm pressing the floor so your chest completely faces forward and stays lifted. Drop both shoulders down your back. Lengthen the back of your neck. Last few breaths. Pubic bone pressing into the earth to support length in your lower back. Deep inhale and slow exhale. Lower the left leg. Let's flip over onto our backs. Coming into, actually, if you want to take your last back bend in bow, you could stay on your belly. Bow is where you catch hold of both outer feet, kick the legs towards straight, and pull the feet towards you to lift everything you can. Otherwise, you might choose bridge pose, where you line your back, have your feet where you could almost touch them with your fingertips, but not quite. Parallel the feet, parallel the legs, and then lift the pelvis. Slipping the arms under your back, maybe the hands clasp. So whatever back bend, take 5 to 10 deep breaths. It's our last one. Focus on enlivening and expanding your lungs. Invigorating your body with energy for the day. When you do come out of it, stay on your belly or on your back, whichever you're doing, and just take a few deep belly breaths. In through the nose, longer exhales through the mouth. Maybe even sigh it out loudly if that feels good. Inhale into the belly, longer exhales through the mouth. You might even like to sway your shins together side to side to gently twist and release the spine, especially the lower back. do make your way onto your back if you're not already. And with both knees bent, step your feet on your mat about as wide as the width of your mat. Separate your knees just as wide apart as your feet. Then drop both of your knees to your left side. So it's an open twist. The legs don't touch here. But if you're not feeling much of a release yet in the right side of your lower back, start by pointing your right knee down the midline of your mat. Either way, do that first. And then you could decide to pick up your left foot and cross the left ankle just above your right knee, gently weighing down to bring more opening into the right side of your psoas, that muscle that crisscrosses in the lower back and out in front onto the front of your hip creases. You might even add raising the arms overhead, which adds a little more length through the torso, and then catching hold of opposite elbows while drawing the shoulders down the back. Let's take 2 more slow exhalations, deep breaths into the belly. Wonderful, relaxing breathing technique that also stimulates digestion. Then uncross your legs and arms. Step your feet again about mat width. Separate the knees just as far apart. And drop both knees to your right side. Now take a moment to line up your left knee down the midline of your mat. Then decide if you want to go deeper by crossing your right ankle just above your left knee, allowing the natural weight of your leg to enhance opening the left side of your lower back and hip. You might even add raising the arms overhead and switching to hold the opposite elbow on top, drawing the shoulders down your back. Breathe in to your abdomen. Breathe out slower through your mouth. Two last breaths here. And unwind the legs to draw your knees bent towards your chest. Take another minute for any cooling down posture movements. You might take Apanasana, where one leg is straight forward, bending the knee into your chest, then twisting. Spinal twists are great to release the back. You might lift the legs up, maybe on a prop like a wall or a chair, which can stimulate circulation a bit more. Also is relaxing for the nervous system while stimulating for the digestion. Maybe happy baby or straddle the legs apart. If any of those two, ground your tailbone to support the length of your lower back. And before you lower your body into a still position for Shavasana, do a little check-in. Turn the head gently. Feel that your neck is completely relaxed. Loosen up the jaw, maybe by fluttering the lips a few times. Feel your hands, maybe circle at the wrists. Feel your hips. As you extend the legs on the ground, you might turn the legs in and out a few times and then just let the feet flop. And then landing in a position that facilitates still awareness, but relaxation and stillness. Close your eyes, and let's stay a few minutes in corpse pose. as you lie still here with eyes closed, breathing naturally, feel free to stay for the last 2 minutes in Shavasana, or even longer if you choose. Or begin to lift your body upright to sit for 2 minutes of meditation. As you're making your way up, if you are, I invite you to choose your practice for meditation. If you don't currently have one in mind, here's what I invite you to try. Think of an affirmation that you truly believe about yourself, but want to enhance, being the more potent lens that you experience your day with. For example, I am peace. I am courage. I am love. So I invite you to start with the words I am, and to truly embody that statement that you repeat as your own mantra in your mind or out loud to the cadence of your natural breath. Whatever you choose, let's begin. 2 minutes. If you're not choosing to stay longer in meditation or Shavasana, then please join us sitting upright, joining your palms at your heart center as you thank yourself for committing to this practice today, knowing that as we nourish ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, we allow ourselves to be that much fuller in presence, to share positive qualities with those we encounter. So thank you. Let's close with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.